We had this idea that a life falls apart with some huge, dramatic explosion, like one single mistake that just wrecks everything. But what if the real threat is quieter? What if it's all the tiny little things we ignore, day in and day out, that just slowly build up until one day we look around and have no idea how we ended up here?
This quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. It's not about that one big failure. It's about the slow, steady erosion of who you are, your confidence, your focus, your energy. It's like a tiny leak. Drip, 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 and before you know it, the whole place is flooded.
There's actually a term for this, the silent collapse. And what's so powerful about that term is the word silent. This isn't some sudden crisis you can see coming from a mile away. No, it's a quiet breakdown that happens right under the surface. And it's caused by all those things we keep telling ourselves are no big deal.
So here's our game plan. We're going to really unpack this whole idea of the silent collapse. We'll look at the draining people and places around you. We'll dive into those tricky avoidance habits we all have, and we'll talk about the unprocessed stuff we carry around. But most importantly, we're going to figure out how to take back the controls.
So what is this silent collapse, really? It's basically the quiet buildup of everything that's weighing you down. The key is to spot these things before they get too heavy to even think about moving. So let's start with the stuff on the outside.
All right, first on the list, draining external forces. This is all about the people you surround yourself with and the actual physical space you live in. And trust me, these things have way more power over us than we give them credit for.
Think about it like this. When you hang out with people who are always negative or constantly complaining, your brain starts to mirror that. It's a psychological fact. Your mind literally gets rewired for survival mode instead of growth mode. It's just exhausting because you're always on guard.
Ever had a friendship that just kind of fizzled out? There's a term for why that happens, value drift. It doesn't mean anyone's a bad person. It just means you're growing and changing. Your brain is looking for connections that match the person you're becoming. And when there's a disconnect, that friendship can start to feel more like a chore than a joy.
And you know what? This same exact idea applies to your physical space. It's not just people who can drain you. Your environment can do the exact same thing. Now, this is way more than just a cute saying. Studies have actually shown that physical clutter spikes your stress hormone, cortisol. It also completely overloads your working memory, so even making a simple decision feels hard because your brain is subconsciously trying to process all the chaos around you. Okay, so we've looked outside. Now, we've got to look inward. Let's talk about the habits we create to feel safe, but that are actually holding us prisoner. These are the patterns of avoidance that quietly sabotage our own future.
I want you to really think about this question, especially when it comes to procrastination. How many times have you beaten yourself up for being lazy? But what if that's not what's happening at all? What if it's actually a defense mechanism?
In psychology, procrastination is often seen as avoidance anxiety. Your brain is just trying to shield you from feeling overwhelmed or uncomfortable. But here's the dangerous part. Every single time you delay, you get a tiny little hit of relief. And that relief teaches your brain, hey, avoiding works. Over time, that destroys your trust in yourself. It goes from a habit to your identity.
And another huge avoidance habit, people-pleasing. It's all driven by this deep-seated fear of being rejected. But the more you bend and twist yourself to make everyone else happy, the more you lose sight of who you even are. The only way out is authenticity. The second you decide to remove that need to be liked by everyone, you create all this amazing new space to actually grow.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the heaviest piece of this puzzle. The unprocessed pain we're carrying inside. This is the emotional baggage that silently runs the show, influencing our choices, our reactions, everything.
Man, this is such a powerful idea. Whatever happened in your past that hurt you, that was not your fault. But waiting for someone else to come along and heal you, that's a game you'll never win. The responsibility and the power to heal is yours and yours alone.
See, unprocessed emotions, they don't just vanish, they hide. They hide in the partners you pick, in the jobs you're too scared to apply for, in the way you snap under pressure, and in the ceiling you put on your own self-worth. The only way to stop them from controlling you is to finally face them.
Okay, so we've identified the causes of this silent collapse. Now let's talk about the solution. How do you stop it? How do you start to rebuild? Well, the answer is actually simpler and way more powerful than you might think.
It really all comes down to a decision, a single conscious moment where you just decide, I'm done. Done carrying what isn't mine to carry. That decision is the pivot point. Your life doesn't just get a little bit better, it fundamentally changes direction.
Seriously? That's it. Just one. One decision to finally have that tough conversation. One decision to clear the clutter out of your space. One decision to just start the task you've been avoiding. That one decision is where every single big change begins.
So, I'll leave you with this question. Just take a second and really think about your life right now. The people, the habits, the junk in your room, the pain you're carrying. What is one thing, just one, that's weighing you down that you can decide right now to remove today?